The Paracave Podcast, proudly brought to you by major sponsor Jack's Pale Ale, exclusively available at Parramatta Leagues Club, Shannon Cooney from Glenmore Park Realty, BTZD Clothing, and the official media partner of the Paracave Podcast, the Parramatta Times.
Welcome to another episode of the Paracave Podcast. And now over to your host, Troy Warner, broadcasting live from the world-famous Paracave.
And yes, hello and welcome back to another episode of the Paracave Podcast. Troy Warner here, and this is the game review podcast of the Eels versus Sharks that was played way back on Thursday night at Commbank Stadium. The Eels getting the win in round 13, 34 points to 22, so a much needed win for them after 5 straight losses. The Sharkies, they've had a couple of losses in a row now. They got flogged by the Panthers 42-0, and now this loss to the Eels 34-22. So they're in a little bit of a rut. Oh, they're still coming second on the ladder at the moment, so I wouldn't say they're in dire straits, but they did have Cameron McInnes and Nicho Hynes out. In saying that, they did have Nicho Hynes out when they played the Melbourne Storm down in Melbourne and got the win 25 points to 18. So a lot of people are going to say, yeah, but Nicho was out. Well, they did beat the Melbourne Storm with Nicho out. Look, it was a great performance by the Parramatta Eels, one that we have not seen this year. Maybe if we go back to the Manly game where they showed a little bit of resilience, but that was way back in round 3, and it's been dark days since then, particularly second half fade outs and capitulations, but there was none of that this time, and the Eels got the win. Now, it was great to see Clint Gutherson and Mitchell Moses back, and boy, what a difference did they make to this side. And look, listening to Gus Gould on Channel 9, it is interesting to note that he was saying too, look, where has this performance been? He knows that Gutho and Moses are back, but where has this performance been from the rest of the team? And I tend to agree with Gus there. I probably don't agree with a lot of the things that he says, but a few of the things he does say, he's a very smart man, and I do agree with some of them. And look, this is probably one of them. Where has that performance, where has these sort of performances been without Gutho and Mitchell in the side? But look, they are back now, so that is great to see, and you could just see that they did have a massive difference. Moses' kicking game, Mitchell's kicking game was on song again and really helped Parramatta's game. He had 18 kicks, kicking for 652 metres. So, look, a magnificent effort there from Mitchell, coming back after 10 weeks with a fractured foot. And look, the backline moves just looked a little bit slicker, and some of the tries that the Eels scored just looked a lot better with Gutho in the side, in the backs there as well. So, look, it's great to see them back. Let's hope they're back for the rest of the year and in fine form. And who knows, they may go on a 2009 run. But the game started with Sione Katoa scoring the first try in his 100th game, 4.5 minutes into the first half. Now, I thought, oh no, here we go again. Cronulla got the start, they got the first try, and it was just like, not again. But this is how it went.
Pass, Trindle, numbers over this side, and the 100 gamer is the first try scorer. Sione Katoa.
Well, that time, he had to jam.
So you hear Andrew Johns there saying that Micah had to jam in. Unfortunately, left his wing exposed, and they had the overlap, the Sharkies, and Sione Katoa goes in to score. The conversion was missed, which was out wide, so it was a difficult kick. But then Parramatta bounced back in the 10th minute with a try through Will Penasini. And look, I'm really getting excited about Will. He's every game that he's playing, he's getting more and more experience, and hopefully that is giving him confidence as well, because he can score some great tries at times. We saw last year against the Dolphins up there on the Sunshine Coast. He scored a great try then, and this one was just as good. He bumped off 10 metres out, bumps off one, and then another one as well, and then scores. So he is I guess you could say, a little bit of an X-Factor player, because he can score tries like this, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens next year when Zach Lomax comes into the side.
Brendan Hands, Mitchell Moses, out the back to Penasini. He left one defender behind, and another one, and scores the try.
So yeah, a great try there scored by Will Penasini. And then look, 4.5 minutes later, Micah Sevo, who has been under a lot of pressure from fans this season, especially after that Manly game, his try-scoring record at Commbank Stadium increased as he got another try. So it looked like it was an easy try. Parramatta got the overlap, and Sean Russell, who I thought had a good game on Thursday night, a couple of try assists for Sean and over 100 metres in running. He passed it to Sevo, who scores. And look, I thought at that point that the boys could be on here, because two quick tries in succession, I thought maybe they are on here. Mitchell converted that try and went to 10-4.
Bullocking run to start the set. Moses centre field. Brown working in, Gutherson joining in, Russell. Sevo! A training run results in back-to-back tries for Parramatta.
And then again, down the left-hand side, Micah Sevo, he got his double within about 5 minutes. So Micah, he went down the left side, and look, this was sort of reminded me of the Micah of old, where he just absolutely bulldozed Will Kennedy to get over the try line again. And as I said, it just reminded me of the old days with Micah back in probably 2019, 2020, especially, that one where he ran over James Tedesco as well, and probably more recently with Blaze Talangi running over Tom Trbojevic. But it was good to see Micah. He had a great game as well. I think this, as I said, that try was pretty good as well. Mitchell converted that one, so then Parramatta led 16 points to 4, and they were running away with it, I thought, and I thought they could put on a really good score here. They are playing some really good footy. They're getting confidence back, and it was great to see.
Brown's going to run it to Alangi. Away to Russell. Now to Sevo. Sevo down the sideline. He absolutely demolishes Kennedy on his way to try number 2.
And then I thought probably a little bit of an embarrassing try against the Eels, where they kicked downfield, and Will Kennedy, who I thought before the game was a bit of a danger player for the Parramatta Eels, he found a little bit of space. He linked up with Ronaldo Mulatalo, and it was a length of the field job. It was probably a little bit of a poor chase downfield, and as I said, Will Kennedy found space with Mulatalo. Look, defenders were slipping over. There was a little bit of dew on the ground. Gutho, he fell for the dummy, unfortunately, but Mulatalo was getting taken down, and he passes it inside to Kennedy, who runs away and scores. That gets the score back to 16-10 after the conversion. And look, that was a 90-metre effort from the Sharkies, and something I guess that Parramatta could learn about. And that was just 6 minutes before half-time.
Look at that. What a run. He's been battered from pillar to post, and he's still got the pace to get on the outside. Mulatalo. Kennedy's there in support. Ronaldo. How good is that from Mulatalo? And Kennedy started it, and he finishes it.
And then just before half-time, Mitchell Moses, he had a crack at field goal but missed. So that was the half-time score, 16 points to 10. Now, interestingly, 4 minutes after half-time, the Sharks do a captain's challenge and they were successful. And then 1 minute later, the Parramatta Eels, they did a captain's challenge and it was also successful as well. So 2 successful captain's challenges, one from each side there. And then, look, it was an interesting period just after that because there was 3 set restarts in a row to Parramatta. And I was there thinking, oh, look, there's 3 set restarts to Parramatta. Look, why don't you just sin bin somebody? Why don't you just give them the penalty? I'm probably glad that they didn't do that, as Parramatta were on the attack, and I just thought, I'm glad they didn't give the penalty because Parramatta had a little bit of a roll on then, and I'm glad they didn't because Junior Paolo, who, look, again, he's been under a little bit of pressure from fans about his performances as well. He has been playing off the bench. He has started a couple of games. This game, there was a late change back to the interchange bench with Wiramu Greg starting the game. And maybe this is something that Junior will be doing for the rest of the year, perhaps. Maybe being named at starting prop, but then coming off the bench. So we just have to wait and see until the actual match day, 1 hour out from the actual game. But look, that was a fantastic try, and it just really showed, look, Junior's determination. He bumping off defenders. He got the ball down. So look, that was a great effort from Junior. Great try. I wouldn't want to try and tackle him. It must be hard to try and tackle Junior that close to the line. But, look, he did that the other night at Commbank Stadium. And, look, the boys, I think they really celebrated that try. They really enjoyed that try from Junior. They got around him as soon as he put the ball down and got back up. And there's some photos there on the Parramatta Eels socials about the game and about that try. And you can just see the excitement and in the faces of the Parramatta Eels players.
Wrapped around the ball. Junior Polar out wide, bumped away from Trindle. Sharks coming through. None of them can hold him. He busted through 5 tackles.
And yeah, as I said, that was a great try from Junior. Mitchell, he converted the try. Parramatta are now leading 22 points to 10 with 30 minutes to go. A few minutes later, about 5 or 6 minutes later, Mitchell Moses, he gets a penalty goal, and it ends up 24 points to 10 as well. I think at that time, I thought Parramatta should have stayed on the attack. I think they just had a little bit of a roll on, and I thought maybe they would have taken the tap and tried to go for another try, as they weren't that far out. But I guess they weren't that far out, and I guess 2 points is 2 points. It gives your big blokes a bit of a break, a little bit of a rest as well, and I guess just been a bit distracted here by the phone going off left, right, and centre. It gives your gives your big blokes a little bit of a rest, and I guess you get 2 points as well. So might as well take those ones. But then look, as I said, the return of Mitchell Moses, it was outstanding, and the next try to Bailey Simonson, it was a cracker, because Mitchell, he is known for going down the short sides, and look, it was good vision from Brendan Hands as well to see that and to see Mitchell, and look, they ended up with a 3-on-1, and as they get it, the dummy half, Brendan Hands passes the ball to Mitchell, and look, the Braden Trindle was the second marker, I believe, in this try at the play the ball, and he was out of position, and there was only Mulatalo there, so the Parramatta had a 3-on-1 there. So Mitchell grabs the ball, he dummies to Penasini, sprints a little bit more, and as he's being put down, he just gets the ball out to Bailey Simonson, who basically sort of just trots to the line, and Parramatta then lead 28 points to 10 after 28 points to 10. Unfortunately, Mitchell missed the conversion, but it looks just great vision from Brendan Hands and from Mitchell Moses as well, something that Parramatta have been missing over those last 10 weeks.
That allows Mitchell Moses to kick from the same spot. Here he is once again. He sees a nice short
Rush
side.
the short side. Moses through a gap. A pass away to Simonson. Welcome back, Mitchell Moses.
And then it was a little bit of a tricky period for the Parramatta Eels. I thought maybe this could be a little bit of a capitulation, as the Sharkies, they scored 2 tries within about a 5-minute period. So the first one was to Daniel Atkinson, who has been playing good footy since being elevated to the top grade. Obviously, sort of won the game for Cronulla down there in Melbourne, but he got a great try, and Sione Katoa got his second try as well. So it was Atkinson's try. That was a beauty by the young half. A bit of a step and then a bit of a wrestle with Gutho trying to get the ball down, but he did get the ball down. And then Katoa, he was on the end of some great inside play, and basically he ran in 20 metres untouched. There was a great ball from one of the forwards out to the centre, I believe it was. But 20 metres untouched. Braden Trindle converted that to make it 28-22, and I thought, is this another second half collapse? I hope we don't lose, but then this happens.
It looks smooth.
That was it. Yours.
Now Brown, left foot step, beat Hazelden, beat another. Dylan Brown! What a try! What a run!
And yeah, what a try it was, what a run it was. And we have seen Dylan do a lot of running like that, close to the line. And he's just got that great stepping game. 2 left foot steps and a great individual try, which sort of pretty much wrapped the game up. There was 10 minutes to go at that stage. 34, Mitchell converted, 34-22, which was the final score in the game. But look, Dylan Brown back in the number 6 jersey. Obviously, he was pretty happy that Mitchell was back as well, so Dylan could go back to his normal position. But that was a great try, and we have seen him do it in the past, and I dare say that we will see it in the future as well. And as I said, that's where the final score ended, 34 points to 22, a 12-point win to the Parramatta Eels, a much-needed win for them at this stage in the competition as well. So look, now to the top performers, the stats that matter about Parramatta, as you could like. And look, running metres, Clint Gutherson, 279 metres. What an outstanding return that was. 279 metres from Gutho. Absolutely outstanding. 80 minutes as well. 26 runs that was. Will Penasini, who, as I said, had a great game as well. 184 metres, 16 runs. Regan Campbell-Gillard, who has been again under a lot of pressure from fans as well about his performances and not getting over that 100-metre mark as a forward in his game. And we know that if the forwards get over 100 metres in the game, they're doing something right and gives the backs plenty more room to run in. So he did 179 metres in 15 runs. Bailey Simonson as well, who I thought has been one of our consistent performances of the season so far. 15 runs, 166 metres. Now, there was a stage there where I thought he was going to go off the field. He copped there was a point there where he was limping pretty badly, and I thought, okay, he may go off here. It looked like he was in a lot of pain, picked up maybe an ankle injury or a knee injury, but he did stay on the field and he did play 80 minutes. And I just thought at that point that could be a chance for Blaze Talangi to come onto the field. Unfortunately, Blaze, he didn't get on the field in this game, which is a little bit disappointing, but there was questions before the game as to how he would be used in this game, being on the bench there, number 14 for the Parramatta Eels, with Clint Gutherson obviously coming back. Was a cover for him just in case his knee wasn't up to it? Would Gutho just get a rest anyway? Could Blaze play in the centres as well, maybe? Potentially play on the wing as well. I just thought he might have come on then when Bailey was limping pretty badly. Junior Paolo, 149 metres, 15 runs. So impressive stats there from Junior as well. 149 metres, that is pretty good. And one player who I thought also had a great game as well was Brendan Hands. I mentioned him in that try to Bailey Simonson down the short side. It was great vision from him as well. But he had 7 runs for 61 metres. Now, we had seen previously this season with Joey Lussick playing that there was only like 1 run for 5 metres or something like that. So to have 7 runs for 61 metres, that is probably what you want to see from your hooker. Now, again, he did play 80 minutes, and that's probably, I guess, what he will do moving forward as well. We did see at the start of the year former coach Brad Arthur saying that he was after an 80-minute hooker. Well, he got one. Trent had one the other night with Brendan Hands playing 80 minutes. So 7 runs for 61 metres. Now, tackles and Brendan Hands again, tackling machine, and 55 tackles. So unbelievable for a hooker there. Usually it's Jermaine Hopgood who tops that tackle count, but he's off in Origin camp for Queensland. Bryce Cartwright, who is in and around the action every night. He pulled off some great tackles, actually, some big hits. I forget who they were on, but there was some big hits from Bryce as well. 34 tackles. Kelma Tuolagi, who started in the second row this week, he played 80 minutes as well. I thought he had a pretty solid game. 29 tackles. Regan Campbell-Gillard to go along with his 179 metres, 27 tackles as well. And to go along with his 149 metres, Junior Paolo, 21 tackles. Obviously, the try scorers were Micah Sevo got a double, Dylan Brown 1, Will Penasini, Junior Paolo, Bailey Simonson all got 1 each as well. Offloads. Now, that's something that Parramatta is known for, and that offload game really came back to Parramatta on Thursday night. And look, there was plenty of offloads from this side. The top offloader was Bryce Cartwright. As I said, he got in and around the action, and he had 4 offloads in the game. Parramatta for total had 19 offloads compared to the Sharks' 7. Kelma Tuolagi 4, Will Penasini 3, Sean Lane 2, Junior Paolo 2 as well. He is known for his offloads as well. So, look, the Parramatta game is known for the offloads, and it showed there. It does create a bit of second phase play, keeps the opposition guessing as to what's going to happen as well. And just to that, it does matter where and when you're going to do it. There was a couple of offloads there where I thought, oh no, why would you throw it there? Because I think it went to ground, and luckily it went backwards, and a Parramatta player was there to pick it up as well. Sometimes I think the players get a little bit excited doing offloads, and they think if I can get it done, I'll just get it done and I'll offload. But there has to be a time and a place for that as well. So thankfully, none of those passes went astray to the opposition. Now, completion rates, the Sharkies had 89% completion rate, 38 sets, 34 out of 38 sets. Parramatta 81%. They had 5 more sets than the Sharks, 35 completed sets out of 43. Parramatta had about 4 minutes more time in possession. Possession was 54% to 46%. So, look, very good completion rates from both sides. You definitely want to get over that 80% mark. And, look, that's a pretty good figure for both sides. Now, kicking game, look, as I mentioned, Mitchell Moses, 18 kicks, 652 metres. Dylan Brown got 60-odd metres in kicking. And, look, overall, Parramatta 738, Sharks 792. Only the one forced dropout, and that was by Mitchell Moses as well. So, ruck infringements, the Sharkies 4, Parramatta 1 inside the 10 metres. Parramatta 1, I think that was from Kelma Tuolagi. Bryce Cartwright went off for a HIA, but he was able to come back. And 8 interchanges used by each side as well. So that was good to see that there was 8 interchanges used. Unfortunately, Blaze Talangi wasn't one of them. So it'll be interesting to see on Tuesday coming whether he gets named in this squad, this team, in the 17, and if he does, which number he gets named at. He probably will get named at number 14 again, but how will he get used in this team at the moment? So there's a lot of talk about Gutho maybe moving to centre to accommodate Blaze. Could that happen? Potentially maybe one of the wingers as well, although going off this game you probably wouldn't drop any of the wingers, so Micah Sevo and Bailey Simonson, you'd keep those two. I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens, what Trent Barrett names on the Tuesday. Whether I think Blaze will get named, but I think he will get used against the Bulldogs coming up on the King's birthday Monday. So I think, look, it's a interesting one, isn't it? Where would you play Blaze? What position? And if he is on the bench, what position would you use him at? There is a couple, but which one would you use him at? As I mentioned before, the next game for the Eels is on Monday the 10th of June at 4 p.m. at Commbank Stadium against the high-flying Bulldogs. They are now coming in 6th spot on the ladder. Had a big win against the Newcastle Knights last night, 32 points to 2. And they are in fine form in the top 8. First time in a long time. They have lost Josh Addo-Carr for 8 to 10 weeks with a hamstring injury. So that is a big blow for the Bulldogs. But this will be a big game for both sides. Again, Parramatta need to win this one just to keep on with keep in touch with the top 8, and the Bulldogs will, as I said, they are in fine form. They are as I keep on saying each and every week, they are the most improved side in this competition. The Sharks, they have an interesting game. They play the Brisbane Broncos up there at Suncorp Stadium. So another big test for the Sharkies. They play the Brisbane Broncos up at Suncorp Stadium on Saturday the 8th of June, 7:35 p.m. So a big test for the Sharks again. They will have Nico Hines and Cameron McInnes back, so a timely boost for that. But the Broncos will have their Origin players back as well. that is the game review for the Eels versus Sharks. I hope you enjoyed that one, and if you do like this sort of content, please let me know. And also, if you can, please leave a 5-star rating and review on whichever podcast platform that you listen to, be it Apple, Spotify. They are just two of them, even YouTube as well. And if there's any reviews, I may even read them out live on the podcast, so your name might be mentioned on the podcast. But thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much for the support. I really appreciate it. Plenty coming up on the podcast. Look, don't forget, also running till Monday, 6:30 p.m. is the State of Origin tickets giveaway for Game 1 at Commbank Stadium. 2 tickets giveaway. Check out the Paracave Podcast Instagram page on details how you can win. There is a post there. I may even post that one back up as well, just to give people a reminder. But check that one out as well. If you are in Sydney and you want to go to the State of Origin, you've got to be in it to win it. So check that one out. And look, the interview with Robert Driver is out now, up until Thursday as well, so check that one out. A American Parramatta Eels fan who tells me his supporting of the Eels and rugby league in general story. It's a really interesting one as well, so check that one out as well. Thank you very much, and a special shout out to my Singapore listeners. I know you will probably be listening to this one as well, so thank you very much. I've got a massive response from Singapore this week, so thank you very much to the Singapore listeners. I really appreciate your support. I hope you are enjoying rugby league anyway, or learning a little bit more about rugby league. But thank you very much for listening to the podcast. That's enough from me today. Thank you very much for listening. And as I say, the Paracave Podcast, by the fan, for the fans. Go Para!
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Paracave Podcast. See you next time.